Hey, so it is December 2nd, 2021, and I'm just browsing through the news, and I see that Putin is issuing uh, a speech. And what he's issuing in the speech is this idea of red lines that are contextually based for each and every situation, and that Russia will determine what the red lines are and if they've been crossed and what the retaliation will be. And so what he's doing is he's making effort to create boundaries, many boundaries, and he's saying, look, if you violate them, there's consequences. And the reason he feels like doing that, or that he's right in doing that, is he feels that Western powers are trying to militarize Ukraine, which is right on his border, with anti-missile systems to invalidate his first strike capabilities and his abilities to retaliate in a missile attack. So by having anti-ballistic missile systems in Ukraine, it's so close. It would be like as if Russia put their missile systems in Cuba or Mexico, even something right up on our border, to shoot down our missiles so that our missiles couldn't fly away. So he's seeing himself and framing himself as the second mover, and that he's reactionary to the West's aggression and the West's provocation, that we're provoking him. So that's kind of the frame there. Now, the West is framing it as, hey, we have a global community of peaceful countries and nations that want to band together, that want nothing to do with this tyrannical Russia, China, Brazil crap. And if Ukraine wants to be a part of this, they're free to be a part of it because it's a global community. And, you know, you can be a part of this global community. We're not going to reject, participants that are wanting to comply and conform to become part of it. So those are the two narratives, two overarching themes, the two kind of conflicting stories. And the reason I'm making this video is I pre-seen this. When I started to review the news tonight, instantly it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've pre-seen this. I have pre-seen what happens is America does create a missile system, a military base with missiles in Ukraine, and Russia sends like super elite soldiers in, like their version of Navy SEALs, and they actually do successfully and effectively invade the military base and deactivate the missiles and cripple it. And I don't know if they kill the soldiers or just tie them up and gag them or what they do. I'm trying to remember in what I pre-seen in the dream. I think the first time they don't actually even kill them. I think maybe they just kill one or two of them, and then they take the others prisoner or captive. But this is indeed something I pre-seen. It was probably 6, maybe 7 years ago. I'll go back and review my journals, which is harder for me to do now that I'm more of a mobile lifestyle. I used to have easier ability to go through my journals, but I still have them all. They're still all valid and real and kept. But one of the things is this is actually something I have seen. So what I have seen is that America will have missiles there in Ukraine and or border countries. I don't believe Latvia. Might be Latvia too. I don't know. I think Latvia, what I pre-seen about Latvia was really interesting. And it's because, let me preface what I'm about to say with this, because people are going to think I'm a weirdo, right? Everybody thinks everybody's a weirdo if you're not the same as them. But to the degree I care for something is to the degree I get insight for it. Now, I love Latvia and have a care for Latvia because I love MikroTik. And I have MikroTik routers and MikroTik products all over. Even here in my car, I've got MikroTik router board from Latvia. you know. Great freaking products. If you want to run a badass network and you want a lot of value for the dollar and you want reliability and shit that is awesome and doesn't fail, at least not very easy, MikroTik is one of the secret golden gooses of making badass networks. So because I have an affinity and a care for Latvia, because of my dependence of MikroTik and my love of MikroTik. What a cool product. You know, even though it's closed code, it's not an open source project, it's still wonderful. Those guys pack and smash more value per dollar into their offering than anything I've ever seen. I mean, it's really awesome. It's amazing. So I have a care for Latvia, and so I think maybe that's what opened the data portal for me to be able to see what was going on, or to get data, you know. So I get data and signaling about the future. Sometimes I'm pissed off when I'm getting that data, so I don't do a good job of recording it, because maybe I'm personally trying to look for answers regarding my own personal love life. And, you know, God's given me data about the end of the world and the wars and stuff and the space stations and all the other things going on that are involved in the deterioration of things. And I'm like not having it. I'm like, fuck you, like, show me who my wife is, you know. Do you ever make me happy? You know, like, do you love me? Is your love personal for me? And do you have a good story for me, or is my story down here like this trash freaking story? You know, I've always had this problem where my imagination of what the awesomeness of God is seems to be better than what ends up panning out here on earth. You know, even though I trust God, I'm not going to anything else to get my needs met. I'm going to God, and I'm trusting the Lord Almighty for meeting my desires and my needs and my wants. And because I'm going to Him for it, you know, I'm expecting Him to do good and to be over and abundant, exceedingly pressed down, packed down, shaken together, cram-packed with goodie and blessing. You know, just like the Bible says that He's going to send blessings out to chase me down, to hunt me down. My blessings should be hunting me down to deliver themselves to me. Anyway, not to get on religious rant. That's it. So sometimes I don't do good at these video regurgitations of what I got, because a lot of times I'm getting stuff when I'm pissed off and I'm really pressing hard into God, because I have a personal thing like my love life, and it's, you know, it's almost like Satan stepping on my balls by denying me my sex life here on earth. So I press in hard to God, and I get data and I see the future and crap, but it ain't the shit I'm looking for. So I'm pissed. I kind of dismiss it. I just keep throwing it over my shoulder and shuffling and looking for, going where, you know, I'm looking for my answers. I don't, you know, but anyways, what I have seen is the end of the world, nuclear war, San Diego gets blown up. I've seen lucky people being able, who have friends in the military, who are actually, as crazy as it sounds and totally violates all the rules. I've seen civilian family members of crewmen on submarines getting on the subs. The guys on the subs save their own family and friends. And I know that's completely absurd and against all military protocol, but I think what happens is nuclear war, as it starts developing, people realize this is a shit show like we've never seen. We got to do something. And what is the best thing we can do? And there isn't good answers. But if I can bring my friends and family or some girlfriends or whatever, if I can get some more people on these submarines, so, because I mean, if you already know, hey, this whole fucking place is getting nuked, you know, the only safe place is under the ocean, and you got, you know, an hour or two heads up notice, you're gonna probably make some personal decisions. You might bring some shit on your Navy boat that doesn't necessarily belong there, and who gives a fuck? You'll answer for that later. The world's about to get nuked. So I've seen nothing good. There is no good future. I have seen a future. I think it was a different one than this. We'll see how it pans out. I have seen an alternate timeline future where in some way, shape, or form we keep printing money and doing these delay tactics as we evolve technology and solutions. And we're able to somehow escape nuclear war with Russia. I have seen that future. That is a possibility that's been served up in the prophetic realm. And God gives me the positive into the battery and the negative into the battery, and then he expects me to be able to infer and discern and ascertain the spectrum in between on my own. But I'm always given usually two, almost always. I don't know of a time where I'm really not. It's very rare when I'm not given the two ends of the spectrum. When the prophetic and the future comes to me, I'm usually given two things, and it's the ends of a spectrum, and then I've got to do the part of having the inference ability to see what the ranges are. And how do I re-articulate this into Christianese for the Christian watchers? God has a desired perfect plan he'd like to see, and then he has another plan that he's just okay with allowing to happen, but maybe it's not his desired plan. I've heard other pastors and preachers talk about the ideal plan that he wants, but then he also has the plan that he'll allow to be, even though it's less than the perfect one. And the reason he's got to have that one is because it's the highest level that the humans strive. In their striving, it's the highest they're going to get to. They're P words. I don't know if it's proposed and permissive plan. Maybe it's his permissive plan and his perfect plan, or I've heard someone give a speech or a sermon on these two plans, that God has that happen here in this reality with every situation. There's the perfect plan for you and your girlfriend, you and your wife, you and your daughter, you and your job, you and your finances, you and everything. And then there's the permitted one that might fall a lot lower. It might be a lot less awesome, but he'll still permit that because all of the cards and all of the humans at play never worked to create the conditions to get the perfect one. So then what that means is the only thing that's allowed, the highest thing that can come about is the permitted one. And so I think that's kind of what I'm getting when I see the future. Again, it's not like I'm trying to pretend to be a psychic that knows tomorrow's lotto numbers or something like that. But I have seen the future. It's given to me years in advance, sometimes 6-7 months in advance. And what I'm given is usually not just a single thing, like 1 hour. It's usually like a swath of time that takes up weeks and months and multiple months sometimes. Sometimes I see things that cover multiple months of time. But I have seen a future where we have a military base in Ukraine. The Russians come over the border. They're secret forces guys, special forces. They're Spetsnaz or whoever it is. Who cares what the name is, honestly. It's their A-grade fighters. They come over. They, stealthily kill or knock out all our sentry guards and perimeter security. They make their way in. They fuck up the thing. They break it, cripple it, take some of the parts back to Russia. They make it so the missile launcher won't work. It's a really badass demonstration of force on their part. Even though they killed people, it is graceful. It is fairly merciful. It was the minimum amount of death probably to get the job done. It's sad. Nobody should be dying. But they do it. A lot of the people that get killed are like nerds and good guys. They're Christians. They're normal good guy people that don't need to die. They get killed because the Russians ain't going to allow a missile base the America controls to be right there in Ukraine, right on their border. So they go in, they kill them. I think they maybe tie some of them. I think they kill some and tie some up or something like that. I can't. Maybe they kill them all. Again, some of these details, I know I was given them. I was irresponsible with documenting it, and I ain't remembering it right now. I did document it better when I got it years ago, and it's date stamped, and I can go look at that, but I don't have it with me here in my work truck right now. But anyways, it happens again. There's another thing. So we re-up it, we fix the missiles, and then it gets more serious. And shit escalates. And at some point in time, America's telling Russia, don't do that. We're calling a red line. We're saying, do not do that. Do not cross that red line. And they cross it. And the shit is on. War happens. I'm pretty sure, and again, these are just remnants coming in my brain right now. I'm pretty sure in the peacetime version, where America prints its way money-wise through World War II or World War III in the most peaceful of ways, I still think Russia hits us with a nuclear bomb once or twice. And in our money printing, seeking peace kind of mode, we don't retaliate with nuclear weapons. We actually let them hit us with some nukes that go unretaliated. And I think in that version, that might have been the perfect plan of God kind of version. We're able to do it without co-contributing to the igniting of the world in nuclear fire. The highest and best good for all of humanity is that we don't retaliate, we don't counterfight and escalate, even though they hurt us and kill our people with nuclear weapons. I have pre-seen, and something we need to pray for is the guys on the ships and the submarines in the Russian Navy. I have literally been taken into the future and seen. I was very close proximity with boat captains and ship captains and operators of nuclear launchers. And God's Spirit is very strong with these guys. In fact, it's so strong, some of these guys in the Russian military do not launch their nuclear missiles because it's literally God's Spirit is on their boat, hovering and compelling them that this is wrong. And you talk about a very difficult situation when you have someone who's devoted to their military service directly disobeying an order from their chain of command. And you're talking a significant order. This isn't just changing the lunch menu. This is fucking launching nuclear weapons, and they disobey because literally they're able to have a soft enough heart in and of themselves for their consciousness for God to get to them. And he's vibrating just like he did in the book of Genesis when his spirit vibrated upon the waters. He's in their Navy ships vibrating against their heart and their mind, compelling them, don't do this. Not all of them work out that way. Some of these hard-hearted assholes launch those missiles. Some guys fight no matter what God does. And God already knows about that. But he works on everybody and he does his best. But I also saw, there's a saying, God reveals to redeem. This is something to be prayed for. Americans, everybody, Mexicans, black peoples, Chinese peoples, there isn't a country in the world who shouldn't be praying for the peace and the hearts in that moment of time in those boat captains and those missile launcher operator fellas in the Russian military. There is no way America's doing a nuclear first strike. It's going to be a Russia that does the first strike with nuclear. There's no way ever that America will do a nuclear first strike. Not going to happen ever. Period. Maybe in a John Connor movie script where Terminators, robots have taken over the whole earth and the only humans are in America. Maybe that's the only situation where America, which is a melting pot of all the nations, would do a nuclear first strike, but it wouldn't be against humans, it'd be against robots. Russia is going to do the first throwing of the first nuclear snowball. And so praying every human in the world that likes breathing fresh air, non-radiated air, likes to go outdoors, likes to eat vegetables and animals that haven't died in blight and nuclear powdered death with radiation poisoning. Every human that just likes Earth and nature should pray, personally vested prayer, for those Russian military guys in the end of days to not launch those missiles. Hope this is blessing, not just ramblings. God bless you. Bye-bye.